The Chancellor is losing all support within his own party. Wolfgang Kubicki attacks him head-on once again. We'll have to see if he doesn't end up getting sued as well. And the SPD is up in arms together with IG Metall to overthrow this Chancellor. I think by now he's really lost everything he possibly could have lost. And I just wonder, when will this person finally be completely finished and incapable of acting now that even the CDU is refusing to support him? They've had it up to here with these constant reform announcements and nothing ever happens. Let's take a look at Wolfgang Kubicki first, and I'll tell you straight up, just the way it is. By now, both the left and the right-wing press are clearly saying that this Chancellor no longer has any support in Germany. If you want to support this channel, I would really appreciate a like and a subscription, and I'd say clipper.
At the same time, Kubicki sharply criticized Friedrich Merz and called him an asshole. Instructions.
Of course, I would never do that, say things like that against the Chancellor, but maybe Kubicki is right with what he's saying. What's your opinion? Feel free to write it down below for me. However, what I just teased earlier is now very clear. 62 out of the 208 members of parliament from the CDU have made a very clear statement here. If there are no reforms, there will be no more votes in the Bundestag. Just to break it down really simply. But that's not the only group in the CDU that's falling apart right now. The CDU's social wing is doing the same and is also saying that things definitely can't go on like this. At the same time, there's an absolute rebellion spreading in the East, especially under Schulze. He's saying, hey, think about what you just said.
Merz shouted at Klingbeil in this really sissy way in the Villa Borsig.
Because he's completely lost it, especially after seeing the poll numbers they themselves commissioned earlier. That they will probably not only lose by a landslide in Saxony-Anhalt, and it's about to happen. So the AfD only needs about 0.1% more to be able to form a government on their own back there. Quick spoiler, Lars Klingbeil is taking on new debt now, which means it won't be quite as bad anymore. But there's still one more thing to add since then. At some point in the future, they will present exactly how the special fund was embezzled. All these things that have happened now, and I haven't even started with the SPD yet, are now causing Friedrich Merz to be denied support even within the CDU. Some from Group 25, that is, from the 62 members of parliament, they've had it up to here by now, to the point where they say, yeah, then just take our car keys away from us. We were elected by the people and we will no longer go along with this path, and honestly, we couldn't care less about the state list. We're no longer willing to play this game, and now the unions are getting involved as well.
The statutory pension could in future be only a basic safety net. IG chief Christian Benner called this irresponsible and a no-go in an interview with the Süddeutsche Zeitung.
Yes, and it goes even further. The East German pension uprising, specifically against Friedrich Merz. Manuela Schwesig and also Schulze really thought, man, he's sabotaging the elections for us. What if the AfD gets through with a majority government and can decide completely on their own what we do there? You think that's pretty unlikely? Then let's take a look at it. Yes, if BSW and the SPD should suffer even more losses. So for example, voters are now moving from the BSW to the CDU, from the SPD to the CDU, and the CDU is now losing a few percentage points to the AfD. That's exactly the voter shift we've seen in the last few days. Then the AfD would have 50.6% in the state parliament, which means they would have an absolute majority. And that's 38%. Exactly, in the election polls or then on election day. Now, on the SPD side, they're absolutely paranoid. And in the CDU camp, they're now hoping for a scenario like, well, just listen for yourselves.
I think what's happening right now is a dam is breaking, not just a small reform. We're now experiencing in 2 state parliaments at the same time in Saxony-Anhalt and in Rhineland-Palatinate, following the good example of Friedrich Merz with the outgoing parliament. that at the moment before the AfD could gain more influence, according to the rules that have applied for decades, they quickly changed the rules again. All the people I know there in the federal CDU in Saxony-Anhalt, it's a bit different. In the CDU, they're hoping for an absolute majority for Ulrich Siegmund in Saxony-Anhalt. The election is considered lost, and for the CDU, there's only one question left. As the CDU, will we end up as the second strongest party in Saxony-Anhalt, where we have to choose between the Left Party and the AfD? That would just tear the CDU apart there.
Because that would scare off about 20% of CDU voters and also the same proportion of party members who would then clearly say, well, then we have to split off from the CDU. These are exactly the groups I just introduced to you. The social wing says if you cooperate with the AfD, then we will split off. And the under 25 wing would say, no, if you cooperate with the Left Party, then we would split off here. That means the CDU itself is fundamentally divided at its core about how they should proceed. But now the polls have come in as well. In Lower Saxony and also in North Rhine-Westphalia, where in North Rhine-Westphalia they lost 6 percentage points and the AfD gained 4 percentage points. And in Lower Saxony, where they also lost 5 percentage points, you can just tell the CDU is completely torn apart here. When asked about Friedrich Merz shouting around, what's the mood like among them anyway? There was only one word in response, disastrous. Now all hell has broken loose. They're losing across the board, and now they have to be afraid after misleading the voters. They've deceived people twice, once in Baden-Württemberg and also at the same time in Hesse, so now they're losing even more influence. This reform that has now been initiated, namely that they continue to support the health insurance funds, quote unquote. Welfare recipients are supposed to be supported by the taxpayers, while at the same time family coverage are being taken away. Of course, that caused an absolute scandal here where many CDU members are simply no longer satisfied with it, who are now saying, yes, fine, then just throw us out of the party. You only have a very slim majority, and what good is my car to me if I have to give it up in at most a year and then, well, I'll have to ride my bike anyway because I'm politically finished. Those were, for example, statements that were made internally. And then Carsten Maschmeyer comes around the corner and really takes it up a notch. As a company, Germany would definitely already be in bankruptcy court, and Mr. Merz, stop thinking about your ego at last. Nobody in Germany needs these party political games, so Merz is as good as done. He has neither support in his own party nor support in the SPD. I have no idea how they're going to scrape together the funds for the next budget. But yes, probably the whole thing is still, let's say, possibly rather convenient because of the war in Iran. That way, maybe they can declare a state of emergency, take on some debt, and with a bit of luck, somehow put together a budget that holds up budget-wise. And here comes the last piece of news, which really puts the finishing touch on things. The CSU is distancing itself from the XL tax plan, and a tank must be suitable for pregnant women. The CSU, which no longer wants to go along with the XL tax reform plan nonsense, that means Friedrich Merz is also losing support here. And yes, the Bundeswehr is now arguing about the fact that a tank also has to be suitable for pregnant women. I mean, hey, what pregnant woman actually sits in a tank? That just keeps getting more absurd. This government has completely different problems. Like Friedrich Merz, this government, and actually it's pretty much done by now. That's exactly what we want to put forward here. Thank you.